Hello and welcome back to Tuesday New Books. We've got again some selection of fiction and nonfiction to show you today. Start with James Patterson, Steel, a novel by James Patterson and Howard Rothland. Art galleries and casinos, mansions and brothels, billionaires and thieves. Only James Patterson could create a triple cross this decadent and suspenseful. James Patterson. Next one, the new J.D. Robb, Abandoned in Death. Homicide detective Eve Dallas must untangle a twisted family history while a hostage's life hangs in the balance. In this new death novel by J.D. Robb, Abandoned in Death. The new Michael Connelly, a Renee Ballard and Harry Bosch novel, The Dark Hours. A brazen, methodical killer strikes on New Year's Eve, and LAPD detective Renee Ballard and Harry Bosch must join forces to find justice for the victim in a city scarred by fear and social unrest. Dark Hours. The Lady's Mine by Francine Rivers. In 1875, when Catherine Walsh arrives in tiny Cavalda, a mining town nestled in the Sierra Nevadas, falling in love is the furthest thing from her mind. Banished from Boston by her wealthy stepfather, she has come to claim an inheritance from an uncle she never knew, a defunct newspaper office on a main street overflowing with brothels and saloons, and a seemingly worthless mine. The Lady's Mine. Nobody's Magic, a novel by Destiny O. Birdsong. Beautiful cover. Striking and original, full of down-home hilarity, black love, truth, grief, and the sometimes uncertain roads one travels to accept the self. In this glittering triptych novel, Suzette, Maple, and Agnes, three black women with albinism, call Shreveport, Louisiana home. At the bustling intersection of the American South and the Southwest, they find themselves at the crossroads of their own lives. Nobody's Magic. How to Book a Murder by Cynthia Kuhn. A small-town bookseller and literary event planner, Emma Stars, is out to close the book on a killer intent on crashing the party. How to Book a Murder. A new one by M.C. Beaton, that's a Hamish Macbeth murder mystery, Death of a Green-Eyed Monster. This is a large print edition, but we're going to have the regular edition as well. Sergeant Hamish Macbeth, Scotland's most witted but unambitious policeman is back, and he may have finally met the woman of his dreams in this new mystery. Next one, a new one by Preston and Child, Diablo Mesa. Preston and Child continue with the wildly popular series featuring archaeologist Nora Kelly and FBI agent Corey Swanson. Diablo Mesa. Got a mind of their own. New Catherine Coulter, The Grayson Sherbrooke, Otherworldly Adventures. Much like the hero of his frightening Gothic adventures, well-known English author Grayson Sherbrooke has his own share of run-ins with peculiar supernatural beings, both good and evil. The Grayson Sherbrooke. Free Love by Tessa Hadley. From the best-selling author of Late in the Day, In the Past Comes a compulsive new novel about one woman's sexual and intellectual awakening in 1960s London. Free Love. Jonathan Kellerman, City of the Dead, an Alex Delaware novel. The past comes back to haunt psychologist Alex Delaware and detective Milo Sturgis when they investigate a grisly double murder and uncover an even more unspeakable motive in this riveting thriller. Next one, Moonwitch Spider King by Marlon James. In the stunning second novel of the Dark Star trilogy, Sagalon, the Moon Witch, tells her own story of her life, how she gained her power, and what happens in the search for a missing child. Moon Witch, Spider King. Okay.
And then nonfiction, starting out, we have Homo Deus, A Brief History of Tomorrow. That's by Yuval Noah Harari. Then we have this book, There Are No Accidents, The Deadly Rise of Injury and Disaster, Who Profits and Who Pays the Price by Jesse Singer. There's Baby Steps Millionaires, How Ordinary People Build Extraordinary Wealth and How You Can Too by Dave Ramsey. This is one of our grant books. It's called Against Civility, The Hidden Racism in Our Obsession with Civility by Alex Zamelin. This book is Crafting Authentic Paper Flowers by Sophie Longhurst, The Beginner's Guide to Creating Beautiful, Lifelike Paper Blooms with Step-by-Step Projects and Inspiring Photography. And it does show you have step-by-step instructions and photographs. This is another one of the DK books. It's called Artists, Their Lives and Works.
Another grant book too, both of those are.
Okay. There's Watergate, A New History. That's from Garrett M. Graff, the New York Times bestselling author of The Only Plane in the Sky, which was about September 11th. We have Many Meadows, Grow a Little Patch of Colorful Flowers Anywhere Around Your Yard by Mike Lizotte, the owner of American Meadows. This book is by Chuck Klosterman. It's called The 90s, A Book. This might be the book Chuck Klosterman was born to write, a witty and unpredictable history of the decade that just won't go away. From OJ to AOL to the GOP, he has a theory about everything and a story of how it all fits together. This book is by Joel C. Rosenberg. It's called Enemies and Allies, an unforgettable journey inside the fast-moving and immensely turbulent modern Middle East. Then we have The Betrayal of Anne Frank, a cold case investigation. That's by Rosemary Sullivan. It says, less a mystery unsolved than a secret well kept. Finally, we've got something a little bit more lighthearted. It's called My Mess is a Bit of a Life. That's Adventures in Anxiety by Georgia Pritchett. It's just her memoir and tells of dealing with anxiety in a humorous way.
Thanks for joining us today. Come by and to the library and put any of these on hold, or come by and ask us about Hoopla. See you next week.
Bye.
Bye.